Hi, and welcome to Danny After Dark. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a notification or a new episode. Tonight is the weekly True Crime and Chill. And if you're wondering where Mr. Beckham is, he will be fashionably late as always. So just wait for him and he will arrive. So, a lot to talk about this week. If y'all thought in regards to Karen Reed, the trial's over, so there won't be much to talk about, wrong. There's actually quite a bit to talk about. So we will update you on that. Puff Daddy trial, that has ended. So it will be in the hands of the jury. We will talk about that. There's just so much. It just never ends. But before we get to that, few housekeeping things per usual. The True Crime Podcast Festival is 3 weeks away. 3 weeks away. I am so excited. So if you are in the New England, Massachusetts area and you want to attend, there are still tickets to do so. This is the link. And if you use the code Danny20, you will get 20% off your weekend pass. So make sure to check that out. I will have a booth. So I will be there, and it will be my first time having a booth. So I'm really, really excited, but also really nervous and freaking out at the same time. So check it out if you're there. It'd be great to meet people in person. Travis Myers from the Another Nobody podcast, he will be there as well. And he will also be on the show with me Monday night. So tune into that. It was amazing last time Travis joined me here on the show. And yeah, he'll be back. So I'm really excited for that. And y'all, if you missed when he was here before, go back and check it out. He has a ton of stories. There's going to be a lot more talking about his stories this next time on Monday. More stuff you haven't heard. But if you go back and you're like, wait a minute, I have a question for him, make sure you ask it when he's here on Monday. Because yeah, he will answer any questions that you guys have. And if he can't answer it for whatever reason, he will politely let you know. So tune into that. As always, if you are not following me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, so on and so forth, all of those links are down below. I am on Cameo, so that link is down below as well. In regards to any Danny After Dark merch, there is a link down below as well. Again, there was that new image that Paul from Paulcast made me. So check that out. The black kitten in the candle. Oh my God, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed because yeah, true crime and cats. Does it get any better than that? Speaking of cats, it's Friday. The door is open for the cats. I have Loki over there on the tower. Looks like Luke is at the door. So they'll be coming in. They'll be coming in. Don't you worry. So you guys will get your cat fix. And quick shout out to my little girl, Selena. She has been, oh, my poor baby. She has been under the weather. She wasn't doing well, like close to last week. And I think I might have said that on air. She got a little worse. She got an upper respiratory infection, which, as y'all know, if you have animals, that is contagious too. Like, I can't catch it from her, but she can spread it to other cats. And for example, if she sneezes or whatnot, it's on my clothing, then I could pass it to the other cats as well. So She is still currently quarantined from the other cats in a separate bedroom, but I assure you she has been getting tons of one-on-one love, affection, treats, churros, you name it. But yeah, she went a little bit downhill, had to go to the emergency vet, got diagnosed with the upper respiratory infection, and yeah, wasn't fun. And it hit with my dance show weekend, so it was so stressful because yeah, my baby comes first. So, but she is doing much, much, much better. Like, I would say she's like 97% back to herself. But yeah, it was quite a bumpy road. So, shout out to my little Selena. So, she will not be coming in this room tonight. She is still quarantined from the rest of the cats. But I did just see Tuka. Yeah, there we go. You got Tuk. So, let's see now who is here, and we'll kind of get the night started and hanging out. Hello, James Watson. Good song, by the way. Hi, Kane. Hey, everyone, even you, James. Here we go. I'm going to give you a star for that, Kane. I absolutely love that. Even you, James. That just like made my night. I'm not going to lie. Hey, Capone. Good to see you. Fiddle, what's up, Fiddle? Yeah, next time you see Paul, give him a bit of a kick in the ass for me. He is a pain in the ass, as always. So, yeah. I love how I just complimented him for making that image for me, and then I'm just like, screw Paul. Yeah. Let's see. K-Dog, hello. Good to see you. Beckham, is Alessi going to your booth? Oh, yeah, I am sure. Not only this year at the True Crime Podcast Festival, Beckham, but Beckham, where the heck are you? You're late as always. But also CrimeCon this year, you better believe Karen Reed is going to be the topic of conversation. Last year when I flew out to Nashville, it was anytime, and that was before Trooper Proctor took the stand in the first trial. Let me tell you that. Anytime I would talk to someone, so two things. One, if they're like, oh, where are you from? And I said Boston, the first thing was like Karen Reed and who's Turtle Boy. Or I would open my mouth to talk and people are like, oh, you have a Boston accent. I'm like, no, I don't. I don't think I do, but that's okay. So yeah, if it was talked about a lot last year, it is so going to be talked about a lot this year, for sure. Get better, Selena. Thank you. Hi, Tony. Thank you. I very much appreciate that. I thought the numbers was just me. What numbers? Oh, I see it. Okay, so it's at the end of y'all's handles, like K-Dog, James. I see it now. That is super, super. Okay, I thought it was just me as well. So I wonder if, yeah. Hey, Richard. Yeah, you have the numbers too. Let me type something in the chat because I'm curious if mine is there as well. Hey, Paul, I totally just bashed you. Let's see. Yeah, weather is crazy hot everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. All right, yeah, let me just type and see if like in my thing it comes up too. I'll just put hello, everyone. Okay, on my name, not all of us have numbers. Yeah, Capone, you're right. They've given me a name and taken away my number. I bet you can change that though. There has to be a way. It's super weird. YouTube is like the changes and the updates they do sometimes. Yeah, it's not fun. So I guarantee this might be something where if enough people are annoyed that like probably by a week or two, this numbers thing will be gone. Super weird. I'm ready for this. The Karen Reed talk trial should be coming up soon. Well, she is going to civil. She has been sued and will be going to civil court, but that's a whole nother animal. And we will not be talking about that tonight. So yeah. PJ, hello. If I didn't see you already, I'm sorry. I was just so like transfixed by this numbers on everybody's thing. Kicks Paul in the ass. Yeah, James, I'm gonna give you a star for that because I very much approve. I don't like change. I don't do good with change. No, James, I'm the same way. I am legit the same way. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it is my thing. So like all these times there's numbers and like, or like changes with YouTube, whatever those little, and it's like, no, it's fine. Just leave it alone. It's fine. Paul has a number after his name, 6. Does he? Usually when Paul comes in, I don't pay attention. Oh, it's just the one that he made. Yeah, see, like I didn't even notice. I didn't even notice because I don't pay attention to him. So it's fine. So, okay. Last night I did the June book club book review. So if y'all missed that, check it out. It was a very long show. At the beginning, I said I won't tell you guys the amount of pages of notes I had. I had 45 pages of notes. And I went through most of it. As I was going, I saw like little sections of just notes I had where I'm like, yeah, it's not needed. It's not needed. And I would just jump over it. 45 pages of notes for this book review. 45 pages of notes. But I loved it. Loved it. So if you missed the book review for book club, check it out. But again, disclaimer, it is very graphic in regards to it's very violent. Like Delia is very explicit in in her story, and she has every right to be. So again, it is Living with a Serial Killer, Delia Balmer, My Story. So check out that book. It's an excellent book. I definitely recommend it to anybody, but I know certain topics with you guys can be a little bit triggering. So I always try to give that warning. So yeah, just make sure to check that out. Guess who is back? Hello, welcome, and thank you for the donation. That's very generous. Thank you. So, okay, you have numbers at the did you have numbers at the end of yours yesterday when you were in the chat? I'm just checking. We all have like this numbers thing going on right now at the end. But I'm gonna pull you up on here. You need a wrench. You have been coming in a bit, so you need a wrench. Let's okay, yeah, even on my other YouTube page where I give wrenches, like even that is different now. Yeah, YouTube definitely had some type of upgrade, and I'm not digging it. I am not digging it. Add as moderator. All right, so you now have a wrench. So if anybody's wondering what the wrench does, if you are new to that concept, it is basically a way to post links. A lot of times you guys will be talking about either something related to what I'm talking about on camera, or sometimes y'all just kind of go on your own conversation, which is totally awesome and cool as well. This gives you the opportunity to post a link like, hey, check this out, check out this article, check out this video, so on and so forth. And you can't do that without a wrench, which is kind of like YouTube. That would be a great thing to fix, not adding numbers to the end of people's channel. Like, annoying, absolutely annoying. So let's see. Speaking of numbers, my wife often tells me I'm full of numbers. Richard, yeah, I don't think we can help you with that here. I mean, maybe James Watson can give you some life advice on that. I don't think I can. Delia again. You came, Sam Smith, you came, I think, a little bit in. So I think you missed a decent amount of the episode. It was a long episode, but no, we're not getting into it again. I'm just letting people know to check it out. Calm down, Sam Smith, calm down. Let's see. I'm a giant on another channel called Real GTV. Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Post a link. Post a link. If you have, if there's a link you can post now that you've arranged, please do so. Yeah. Anybody here with like a channel of their own, if you're like you have an Instagram page that you want to make sure we follow, website. I know other people in the past have had like Etsy shops. Like, please, please, please share your link so that I can share it with you guys and for you guys as well. I'm all for friends supporting friends. So yeah, please post. Speaking of friends supporting friends, I hate to like contradict myself, but Beckham, why are you late today?
Hey,
hi, how's it going? It's just all
My
caused
ice,
when you take
my
a sip of
ice,
your
my
drink.
ice had to get my iced coffee for the evening.
And you didn't get me one?
Hey, I gave you $2 last night.
Okay. You gave me $2 so
And
that you could shout yourself out.
I thought that was so funny.
I loved how immediately after you did that, Fiddleford commented like in the chat, like, did Beckham really just donate just to like basically plug himself and talk about himself? Pretty much.
Dude, I have computer lights that are like that literally match your shirt.
Well, you know,
That are
feeling
like
a bit
I
colorful
don't think I don't know if you
today.
can see it on the wall, on the white wall behind me.
Yeah, it's changing colors.
Yeah, it's the lights on the monitor, by the monitor, that are like the your colored shirt, your shirt that you're wearing.
So if I get a lot of complaints tonight because your background is distracting, then we're going to have to nix that next week. So,
Right.
right.
You guys kept making fun it was too dark.
It still is too dark, hon. You know, I need to send you back that $2. You need to put on a damn light in your place. Christ's sakes. It looks like is it still sunny where you are? I can't tell.
Yeah. Dude, it's not 10 o'clock. You're in the future, remember?
I'm in the future. It's 9:17. It
Dude,
has
you're pretty
been dark
much
for a little
you
bit.
literally like in out by like the Atlantic Ocean
Oh
time
my
zone.
God, for Christ's sakes.
You can literally just put your leg out and touch the water.
I mean, we're Massachusetts. We're in the coast. You are so welcome.
Why does everybody have numbers by their names now?
Yeah, we are trying.
I noticed that earlier when I messaged on the chat.
Yeah, I kind of saw it with one or two people thinking, oh, people might have changed their handle. And then like someone was like, what's with the numbers?
No, it
Not
wasn't there.
everybody has it.
It wasn't there last night.
It wasn't there last night. So something definitely.
I don't think it was.
All the mods on here. I really am so happy to be here. Well, I'm happy to have you. Thank you for coming.
I wonder if James did something.
Cool. Wait, sorry, say that one more time, Beckham.
I wonder if it was James that did something and caused everybody's numbers to come out.
Nah, be Agent Sam Smith. That would be my theory. You are so welcome. You are so welcome.
Well, that's what your ID. Your ID does have numbers behind it, but they never showed.
Until now. So anyway, why don't we jump in?
Not into the Atlantic, no.
But you would rather be here having a cold Sam Adams across the street from what?
A cold Sam Adams.
Yeah. So let's just, let's switch it up. We'll do Karen Reed after.
What? This whole show should be dedicated to Karen Reed.
The show should be Karen Reed. You know what? Can I just say, so again, I'm not one to like dox like private conversations like off air, but I have to say one of my favorite things to message Beckham during the day is just a screenshot picture of Kelly Dever from the Karen Reed trial where she just looks so annoyed and over it. Like on the one hand,
is that what you mean? Is that what you mean when you post that?
Huh?
Is that what you're meaning when you post that?
Well, yeah, she just has this look like I'm over it.
Oh.
Which is basically anytime, Beckham, that you say anything, I'm like, oh, he messaged me again. I'm so over this.
Or Paul.
But it's like the perfect response to anything now. It's just her picture. Man.
Oh, dude, Paul put the best joke of the day in our chat earlier, and that's when you posted it.
Mm-hmm.
We can't repeat what the joke was, but it was pretty funny.
Yes. Every once in a while, Paulcast can be funny, and I just want to reiterate. And Fiddle, if you're here, please back me up. Once in a while, which I did asked Paul to come on tonight because, and we'll just start with this because it's a kind of a quick update. So in regards to the Manson, if you want to call it Manson community, Charles Manson kind of genre. So there will be a new book coming out, and it will be Jay Sebring, Cutting to the Truth by Anthony DeMaria. So if you already know that title, is because there is a documentary that came out a few years ago with the same title, Jay Sebring, Cutting to the Truth. So Anthony DeMaria has been working on a book, again, just to tell his story and his truth about who Jay Sebring really was, because needless to say, the media doesn't always do justice to the victims. So I am very much looking forward to that book coming out. It is coming out on July 25th. It is already available for pre-sale. I've seen it on like Amazon and other websites. So definitely make sure to get that. I for sure will be getting it like the day it comes out. You better believe. And if you have not seen Jay Sebring, Cutting to the Truth, the documentary, it is still available. Check it out. You can easily find it online. And then also Paul over on the Paulcast channel did a interview with Anthony DeMaria and posted that. I believe it's in 2 or 3 parts. Definitely make sure to check that out. Anthony did it. I mean, just a wonderful, wonderful job talking about his uncle. Paul, he did an okay job in, interviewing Anthony. I think I could have done better, but
Hey, was he distracted?
Was Paul distracted? I don't think there was a cat attack outside of his home like there was when he interviewed Nick Schreck. That's still like my favorite thing on the internet. But yeah, no, but Paul did all right.
As many times as Nicholas Schreck has been interviewed and been on different things, that one I don't even think he knew how to react.
Thankfully, I was there, and it was.
Oh, that's right.
Imagine if it was just Paul, and he's just like, gotta go, and then just leaves Nick Schreck hanging.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, me and Nick were both like, what is going? Because Paul just like left. Oh, that's like one of my favorite moments. Moments.
Dude, I was like, wait, what's going on here?
Oh, so good. So good. But yeah, so make sure to pre-order Jay Sebring, Cutting to the Truth. Again, it is being released July 25th. I'm very much looking forward to that. So yeah, just that quick little update in regards to the Charles Manson kind of side of true crime. So a few people have come into the chat. I want to make sure I don't miss anyone. Cold Sam Adams sounds amazing. I drink that crazy.
Have you been back there?
No.
Oh, jeez, no. Danny.
Not to that side of Boston.
That's
no.
your city, man.
As small as Boston is, it's also very big. So I've been to Boston a ton since you came and visited with Shelly.
Do not even think Boston is on the remote scale of like some of these Texas cities.
Oh no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I completely agree with you on that. But yeah, next time I'm in the area, I'll be
Come on, Danny. You need to make your way back. I don't even know where it is. I know you do, but you need to make your way back.
Okay. I'll be going on.
Have some cheese fries or something when you're there.
I'll be going in, I forget which part of the city that it's in, but me and Liz and another friend are going to be doing, I found online, it was like a true crime kind of bus tour around Boston where they kind of drive you around and show you like different spots where different crimes had occurred and like history.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, so we're going to that in a few weeks. I'm really excited to do that. With that being said, Beckham, if it's in the area of said bar where you can get a Cold Sam Adams across the street from a Cold Sam Adams.
As historical as the city is, it can almost pull off like a section. Like if they did like a section to like recreate the God, what's his name's murders, it'd be kind of cool.
Boston Strangler?
No, because I'm pretty sure that's going to be there. The first case ever in history.
The first case ever in history.
In England. I always
Oh,
forget
for
that. I
Christ's
always
sake.
forget his name.
Paul Revere?
No.
I don't know what the heck you're talking about.
I always forget the name. Oh my
When you think of
god.
it, no, just say it.
The Ripper, Jack the Ripper. You could literally recreate it there.
Jack the Ripper was not in the U.S.
Well, I'm just saying it's got its no. You didn't listen to me. I said y'all's the historical venues and different areas of Boston is sort of similar to because that's where they kind of originated from. Remember the Redcoats? Hello. Um, so yeah, you could just recreate. I'm talking about you can recreate it. Is what I'm saying. Like take a part of the city and just you do a recreation. So that's all I'm saying.
Let me think about that. No. Okay. Hey, Shelly. Shelly's got numbers on her thing too.
Everybody does, and it has your real
No,
like
not
it
everybody.
like takes your name and it turns it around. Like yours would be Dark Danny. Like if you got a tan, if you got a tan.
We got a compliment. Love your hat.
Thank you.
So let's see. I want to do Paul do a hard confrontational
Dude, I always forget
interview.
that dude's name. I always forget his name.
Whose name?
I always forget Jack the Ripper. Like I always forget Jack the Ripper. Like I've always get it mixed up with somebody else, and I forget it.
I would love to, K-Dog, I would love that. And if the interviewee was Tom O'Neill.
Oh.
That would be like my cup of tea. Like I would just sit back and get the popcorn and be ready to watch. But if y'all think maybe him interviewing somebody else, that would be more your thing. But that's what comes to mind for me. Hey, Tony, good to see you. Let's see. Yeah, Paul interviews Linda Rodstedt, asks her the hard questions. I have a punk band in Boston. Love that. However, I live in Virginia. So we get together when we can.
That's
awesome.
funny, Capone.
That's cool. That is so cool. Let's see.
That's funny.
Age of Nefarious. Hi, guys. Hello. Welcome. So you don't have numbers at the end of yours. I'm just observing everyone.
Well, you see, it's kind of, it looks different though. It looks, some of these people's names look different to me.
Yeah, like so. Lee Capone doesn't have numbers at the end of his, and I don't have.
No, his looks normal actually. Capone.
Interesting. Jack the Ripper was a Brit and moved to Tri-Town to do his dirty. He was part of the British Crown.
Did Paul always have his TV eye behind it?
Paulcast Paul?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or the VI part of it. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. I don't remember Paul having the VI part.
He made a separate account.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah, one of them is like the Paulcast, and the other one's that. So yes, he did have that. I was seeing the news here. A murder suspect was expected to be in Boston area this week. Yeah, there's a whole thing in regards to like if there's a serial killer in Boston or not. It's been a whole thing for months. Hit the like, by the way. Oh, thank you.
I think you guys do have one.
Yeah. Let's see, what the fuck did I just walk into? Paul, so somebody had mentioned that they would love to see you do. Oh, where's what's the specific comment? It was
do a controversial
interview.
I'm sorry, not a controversial.
Confrontational. Here it is. Hey, dog. I want to see Paul do a hard confrontational interview, and I said I would like it if you did it to Tom O'Neill. Oh. I did it because another podcast started. That was a hardcore Christian podcast. Don't lie to the people, Paul. That's yours too. You just, separate state and church. That type
but
of thing.
Why did you add like a TV? Like, are you part of it? Like a you trying to promote like television?
Yeah, Shelly.
That's what threw me off. You see, hers is backwards.
Yeah. So okay, Shelly, just to get you up to speed, and for anybody that's coming in and typing in the chats, everybody's like, "What the heck?" YouTube did some type of weird thing and has changed like everybody's handle. So it's very, very weird. So it's not just you, Shelly. I have No idea. No idea.
James
Okay.
Watson has a biblical number in his name. Oh my God, what's going on?
All right. Now that we got that done, I don't know. Becca, what the hell kind of a laugh is that? You sound so creepy.
Oh man, that's so funny.
All right, I need to make a timestamp of that laugh because I'm going to screen grab that. Yeah, I'm really making a timestamp of that. Okay. All right, now that we got that out of the way. All right, I would buy Paulcast coffee. Wow. Very nice. Very nice. So, all right, let's get to it. Karen Read. So we all know what happened with the verdict. So there has been a lot of statements that have been coming out, but I kind of want to go in order here. So I know last week when me and Beckham did our show, there was a Trooper Proctor interview that was coming out, as well as one with the Alberts and the McCabe. So we're going to start there and then work our way to Hank Brennan's statement and then Alan Jackson's response. It's I can't even. I just can't even. And I just want to say also, we're not going to get into like a bunch of like the like little stuff on the channel, but I've been seeing on more so on Instagram and TikTok, there'll be videos like breaking news footage, Karen Read taking the trash out. Like, I'm not joking. And it's like,
well, I think Alessi came out. As a matter of fact, I think he either came out yesterday or today on somebody's. They've been doing shows left and right, man.
mhm.
And I think they said it last week, but it was too soon after the trial. So I think they jumped on somebody else's podcast and they put it out again that the defense has proof. This is wild. I don't know why people don't see it. They have proof. They just couldn't talk about it. They couldn't present the proof. They couldn't, for whatever reason, they couldn't talk. They couldn't present it. But that something happened in that house.
Mm-hmm.
They have the proof. The defense had it. They just couldn't. They couldn't bring it out or
So it
talk
wasn't
about
allowed
it.
into court.
Yeah, it was not. It was not allowed to be presented. And they literally said, Alessi, I heard him say like on 2 different podcasts. One was today or yesterday, and he spoke about it again. Is that we had the proof, we were just not allowed to present. That's something we have very damaging proof that something happened, and they know what happened because they have access to the evidence,
Mhm.
right? So I mean, not knows what happened. They have the evidence, and it's just wild that people just keep going on and on and on about Karen and Karen and this and that and that they won't. It's like they're. I don't know. It's just this thing has gone crazy, but the fact that they don't listen to those 2 guys that they're literally telling you there's evidence to show that something happened to this poor guy inside that house, or that he was something else happened to them, and there's very, very damaging proof that it did. So yeah, I mean, maybe it was Judge Bev, but or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe people have not that keep really talking really bad about the jurors and everything, Karen.
Oh,
They just don't want to listen to that, man. It's just
yeah.
whatever.
So Becca makes a good point. So Alessi has been doing several interviews.
Yeah.
My boy David Giannetti has been doing several interviews.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of jurors have come forward and been doing interviews. I know if anybody is subscribed to Turtle Boy,
Right off the bat, right? Yeah.
So there's a lot out there. I'm not going to get into like the specifics of that because there's just so much.
There's so much, right? Yeah, and I got you.
So much. I just kind of wanted to whittle it down to like the things that I thought were worth saying from the state, from the defense, and so on. But this is definitely one that y'all like. If that's something you want to look into, definitely check it out, because there's a lot. So kind of just backpedal a little bit. So the Trooper Proctor interview. So that came out last week. So again, if you don't know who Trooper Proctor is, fired, the text messages, he was the lead investigator. There you go. So in the interview, so you can find it online. So Proctor was adamant that there was no conspiracy against Karen Read, in that a very vocal minority of people are pushing this narrative that it was a conspiracy. And he says, quote, "Not in this case, didn't happen here." So he claims that the evidence that he gathered pointed to Karen Read's guilt. In regards to his alleged relationships with the McCabe's, the Alberts, and the other people who were inside the house on Fairview Road that night, he clarifies that he didn't really know any of them, and that his supervisors had no problems with him leading an unbiased investigation. So what he says is, quote, "I heard of Brian Albert, but I never met him till I interviewed him," end quote. He said he knew Julie and Chris Albert through his sister, calling it, quote, "a distant relationship," end quote. But as we kind of learned during the trial, that he knew the family because some of them babysat for his own kids. So again, like, what the hell? So he didn't recuse himself, Proctor, from this case, because he says, quote, "wasn't a concern of mine, wasn't a concern of DA Michael Morrissey," end quote. We could go on about DA Michael Morrissey. Like, himself, just wild, but we're not going to go down that route. So I am not shocked it wasn't a concern of Michael Morrissey. So in regards to those famous text messages, Trooper Proctor says he regrets them and wishes he handled it differently. Quote, "I see someone who's caught up in the moment of investigating a fellow police officer and saying inappropriate things," end quote. In regards to the text about wanting Karen Read to kill herself, he says, quote, "It's a figure of speech. It was said in jest," end quote. Just a couple more points and then we'll talk about this. In regards to when the interviewer asked Proctor if he believed that Karen Read was framed, he says, quote, "I laughed because it's such a ridiculous accusation. There's not one piece of evidence or fact to support that because it did not happen. I would never do something like that," end quote. And then my favorite line from the entire interview, and Beckham, I want your take on this. Proctor said he worked this case like he would any other. He remained adamant that there was no conspiracy against Karen Read.
Yeah. Well, can I jump on this?
Nope. Go ahead. Go for it.
So I saved this, and I was like, should I save it or not? But I did. So the interviewer asked him, if he would change anything, right, about his investigation. And his Michael Proctor's response was, "Myself and every detective in that office worked," this is a quote, "myself and every detective in that office worked this case like we always do. So I wouldn't change a thing." That's what he said. But here are the facts. There, you left an unsecured crime scene, no ring cameras, no recorded interviews. I'm talking about the potential people, right, that could have been involved. No crime scene services, no geofence data. House was not searched. Witnesses not separated. That right there. I didn't. You remember? I've never investigated a crime scene because I'm not a detective, but I didn't think about that. You got to separate these people, man, because you don't want to give them time to come up with a story, right? So witnesses not separated, evidence not we know all this it was from the first and second trial mixed together. Evidence not turned in, deleted videos, blurred videos, edited videos, inverted videos, lost evidence, lied about the tow time, lied about conflict, maybe of interest, lied about Fairview Plow, ignored Apple data, ignored The Cellbrite the Cellbrite data, however you say it.
Yep.
Ignored the Google search, ignored deleted data, ignored the Ford Edge. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe
The Ford Edge, that was the car that
oh
was parked out front
yeah,
that Lucky Loughran, the snowplow driver, saw.
ignored CA's hand cuts, Christopher Albert's hand cuts.
Mm-hmm.
He ignored BA's arm injury, Brian Albert's arm injury. Apparently had an arm injury. Ignored the dog bites. I mean, we know. I mean, come on, right? Uh, 5 unknown males' DNA was not confirmed. I'm sorry. Yeah, and then another separate point: blood DNA untested. The dying cop proves lie. That's the other guy that did really well, right?
Yep. Nicholas Farrell.
He accepted a gift from GA. Who's that's what's her name, right? Jennifer Albert. And Texas the text messages
Wait, Jennifer. There's a Jennifer
or
McCabe.
I mean or JA. So I don't know what he accepted a gift from JA, whoever JA is. Um, text messages proving his biased that he's biased, right? Of course. And then Jen at Proctor's house. You just mentioned that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So all of those points, all of that, and I mean I know they're just quick bullet points,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a lot to all that stuff, man.
I appreciate you reading all of that because we're not just talking about like, he didn't do one thing.
No, like I mean I know, like I said, I ran through those. They're quick bullet points, but there's a lot to each.
Mm-hmm.
You could literally have like an hour on each bullet point.
Mm-hmm. And Beckham, you forgot that they failed to document, failed to
Well, I'm
write
pretty sure it was in there.
reports.
Yeah.
And when few of them they did, a few of them took 18 months.
Oh, the
18
time.
months to
Yeah,
write the
that's
report.
yeah. You're
And then
right.
Bukaki on the stand was like, yeah, it happens. So not only is Trooper Proctor saying, I worked this case like I would any other, but now it's we all did this like
Oh,
we
he
did
threw
any
everybody. Yeah, he said, yeah, exactly. He threw everybody under the. Well, it's too late. But he said we all. He's like myself and every detective in that office. So he basically threw. It's too late now, dude. But you threw
Mhm.
everybody under the bus.
So
He didn't take responsibility. He included. He said
no,
myself and every detective in that office. So
I mean, Beckham, we've been talking about this going back to last year, where
last
one of
year,
the
yeah,
things
it's
I
been
would
like a
say
year
is,
now. It's been like 12 months now. Yeah.
which is last year, 12 months is a year, hun. But
It
I'd
just
love
seemed
to give you a
longer. I
hard
don't know
time.
why in my head. No, in my head it seemed longer because for some reason I thought it was April, but I wasn't here in April.
Mm. So, in regards to, see, now you made me lose my thoughts. Oh, what I was saying again, going back last year is so either at the time I said Trooper Proctor, but hey, let's just rope everybody in because he's saying everybody did this the way they do everything else. So either everybody who touched this case does a great job on all their other cases, but they didn't do it on this one.
Right.
Why? Or everybody who handled this case the way they did does that on every other case and they're completely incompetent at their job. So this is from Trooper Proctor's mouth, is what he's saying, that they worked the case like they would any other. So what does that mean? So Brian Walsh, for example, is behind bars waiting trial. Trooper Proctor worked his case. If I was that defense attorney, I'd be like, wait a
What
minute.
about Higgins? What about Brian Higgins and all the federal cases he had his hand? He's an agent on.
And
Or he
Higgins should never have been left with Karen Reed's vehicle. He should never have been in that room at Canton PD.
that dude, man. Yeah, and then there's video of him literally pointing at O'Keefe, in the bar, threatening him, and then he destroys his phone on a military, like seriously, he destroys his phone on military on the of course, drives to the military base. Why would you do that? And now he's on camera walking through the police department, completely different timestamps, right? And like doing and is doing shady stuff.
Really, Fiddle? Really? It's just
in that
so
room.
rum. Oh my gosh, me and a bunch of coworkers, I have to say, we're just talking about the way we pronounce things. And that was one of them. And we all say rum from from Massachusetts. Yeah, we say rum in the bedroom, in the living room. Anyway, yeah, not, that, like, I think he thought, hey, this will alleviate things. I worked this the way I would any other. Now I'm thinking, you worked other cases like this? That's a problem. All right, before we go on to the Alberts and the McCabe's, I know I'm very far back in the chat.
You know more about them than I do. I was gonna let you go after them.
Yeah, just want to make sure. Tony Stewart, a juror this week, went public. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We are absolutely going to talk about that. How does Boston get over this cop cover up? The thing is, people still aren't silent, and that's a good thing, because I think, especially the town of Canton where this happened, like, their meetings are public, like their town meetings, you can watch them online. There's like, their town residents are like at these meetings, like, this will not go away. Don't think
How's
we're going to
that
keep
going?
running.
Really? So then, what's going on in these town meetings then?
A lot of the citizens there are frustrated
Oh,
because they're
okay.
like,
Yeah, I
this
mean, I
shone
haven't.
a light on the
Yeah,
corruption. Like,
that's
we need
crazy.
justice for John O'Keefe. We're not just gonna, okay, here's the verdict, let's move on, everybody, let's move on. Like,
Yeah, that's
no,
crazy.
this is
Yeah.
unacceptable.
No,
Um,
like seriously, dude. That guy did not get run over by a car. There was no, like,
no,
just real quick. Like, I'm just gonna say my stuff, man. That guy has that claw. He got clawed. He got clawed. He was bruised in different parts of his body.
hey dog, yeah.
Like, if he would have been sitting there in a car, literally, he could have had damage to a foot, damage to a knee, damage to something else if he got run over, right? Not like a claw where, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like something attacked him, like something with a claw, like, you know what I mean? So, like, I don't know. To me, right off the bat, it didn't look like a car hit him at all.
Yeah.
And I think I spoke on this last week. None of the experts proved anything to me. To be
No,
honest,
even
not
the
to me,
state's own
not
experts.
even there. Yet nobody to me. Even nobody's expert. Doctors or these reenacted guy, the reenactment guys with the paint. No expert in anything proved anything to me. Nothing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but even the both sides. So
Thanks, Richard.
it's gonna leave it up to you. It's gonna leave it up to common sense. That's what it leaves it up to.
And that's why I'm so like, how do people still, she was factually innocent. How do people still think Karen Reed's guilty, this, that, and that? Like, we'll get to that. But it's one of those, how, like, people are so angry at Karen Reed. And
And
I'm
it's and
thinking, you need
yeah,
to be angry at the system. You need to be angry at Trooper Proctor. You need to be
right. Because
angry
can you
at
imagine if it
all of
was?
the
Can
people
you
that touched
imagine?
this case and didn't do it right.
Right. Can you imagine if it's you on the line, and it's your life on the line, and you might have, like, not. Now, I'm not talking about like committing murder, but you did. I mean, you like, she drove drunk. Let's be honest, right? She
They
admitted
all did.
that. They all did. Everybody, they all did. Right? You shouldn't have done that. Okay. You got lucky that you really didn't hit somebody in a car and cause a car accident or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you kind of, sometimes we're human, we make mistakes, right? But if you did something and like you really didn't do something, but they're gonna really put it on you, right? And you really didn't do it, and your life could change forever. Like, what I mean, like, think about it. Your life is on the line.
Mm-hmm.
How scary that is, that it's in somebody else's hands, and has somebody else has that control, and they're completely doing it wrong.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
That's
100%.
scary, man, because again, what has if Higgins, if he did something, that guy was one of the shadiest people in this case. Shady, shady, shady. And he's a federal agent. What kind of stuff has he done to people
Mm-hmm.
on a federal case?
And notice,
He's an ATF agent. He deals with
mm-hmm.
guns and all that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%. And Beckham, remember we talked about this last week, that the statement that the McCabe's, the Alberts, Carrie Robertson, and her husband put out, Brian Higgins wasn't in that statement. He wasn't part of that statement, but
Oh
he was in the
yeah,
house
yeah,
that
that's right.
night.
Yeah, right.
And then the
Dude,
interview. Let's get to that interview. But before we did, I while you were talking, let me share screen. I just wanted to pull this up because I have been checking the website, and as of today, as of right now, 9:51 p.m. on Friday, June 27th, look who is still employed at Aperture.
oh my God. I forgot about that dude.
Mm. He was
Like,
supposed to be the smoking gun of the prosecution's
like that.
case.
This guy. Okay, first of all, he lied about his education. He lied about it. It was so bad. We've covered it. It's so bad. And then
Mhm.
like I mean, what's his name? The
Dr. Welcher,
no, the prosecutor.
Hank Brennan.
Brennan was like, well, do you really need the education? The fact that he wasn't honest
The
on his
CV.
resume, does that have anything to do with him being an expert? I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Integrity. You're talking about integrity, and you're talking about again. You are you're being called as a key witness on a murder case, and you're lying,
Mm-hmm.
or you're not being completely your integrity has been compromised,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, even if you know what 1 + 1 is 2, but and you're like, well, I know what 1 + 1 is, but you're going to completely talk about something else that you're supposed to be an expert. How do we know what you're really, do you really know that 1 and 1 is 2? We
K-Dog,
don't
he
know that.
didn't, look at this. He didn't lie. He just pre-degreed.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't give Brennan any more ammo. Don't give Brennan any more ammo. Dude, he could have just said that he's pre-degreed. I guess everybody's pre-degreed when they're freshmen. And they're
Yeah,
yeah,
look at
oh,
PJ.
are
His
you
integrity shot to hell.
hey,
Absolutely.
in like 4 years, I'm gonna have a degree. Okay.
It was
Pre-degreed.
okay, I am a big in this, like, life experience and work experience mean a lot. Like, had he, if he
Night
only
and
had the
night and day.
associates, but had the X amount of years of experience, I wouldn't have
Oh,
cared.
that's fine.
I
At
wouldn't
least you're
have
being
cared.
honest. You're being honest. Okay. You have
But
like
his
what, 30
work,
hours of, yeah. Oh, you have 30 hours of college. Okay. So you didn't go to college. You didn't, whatever. And you're really good at your job, like you said, right? You're really good
yeah,
at your
you
job.
people work their way up.
Right. You're good at your job. You've done it for 10 years, 12 years. The education, well, whatever, for whatever reason, you only got like halfway, whatever. Maybe it was a money thing, right? Maybe because college is expensive. You started a family, whatever the reason, right? You started a family, it got too expensive, whatever. That's better. The fact that you're honest or whatever, and you rely on your work ethic and you rely on your integrity is going to be much more valid than what
Mhm.
you put out by not he literally put that he graduated from a college that doesn't even exist or something, right?
That doesn't offer the
Or
degree.
doesn't offer the degree or something, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And I know plenty of people that don't have the degrees, quote unquote, but have so much work experience, worked their way up. And yeah, I mean, I would rather hire them versus someone who just got, yeah, I have the degree, but you don't have the knowledge to do the job. This person has been doing it. And anyway, but he couldn't even do that right. He copied and pasted, messed up his copy and paste that he admitted on the stand, messed up the difference between megabytes and megabits. That's a big deal. Like, all these things that in his own report, when questioned by Leslie, who knows this stuff, it was, oh, yeah, that was an error. What? What? So, yeah.
I can't believe
Um,
that guy. I mean, I don't. You know what? I mean, I don't know. Probably has a family. He needs a job, whatever. I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm just saying when it comes to his integrity and being a key witness on this case that was really damaged. That's all I'm gonna say.
There's a woman's life on the line
Yeah, I
to
know.
go to jail
I
for
know.
the murder of a cop. Like, this is a
Yep.
big deal.
Yep.
So,
It doesn't get more real than that,
mhm.
or bigger. It doesn't get bigger than that.
So let's move on to the Albert and the McCabe interviews. So we covered Trooper Proctor's. So, and this one actually made me so much more mad.
Yeah, because you've been following this since the start, and they had more to do with it on the first go around.
Yeah,
Right.
Beckham. They weren't.
See, I don't really
watched.
Yeah, I don't really
great
kind of
point.
know them like you do, because you've been following it since the first time around, the first trial. So yeah, so they hit your buttons different.
Yeah, they press my buttons a little differently. Yes, but for those who this is all online, so kind of in your all's downtime, if you're like, you know what, I want to go back and watch the first. What did I miss in the second? So Beckham, thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate that. So people like Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, like Jen McCabe, her husband Matthew McCabe. There were a lot of people that were in that house that were on the stand in the first trial that did not take the stand in the second. Like Brian Higgins, he took the
Right.
stand in the first, but not the second. So
they didn't need to put him in the second, but
they destroyed him without him being there.
Right.
So Brian Albert, the homeowner of 34 Fairview, so he spoke to ABC News, and what he said, it was last Thursday, so one day after Karen Reed was acquitted of killing John O'Keefe outside of their home in January 2022. Brian Albert says, I would have taken a bullet for John O'Keefe because he was a fellow cop, end quote. So for those who don't know, Brian Albert was also a 16-year veteran of the Boston Police Department. So he was with his wife, Nicole, and other family members. And again, they all denied that there was any cover-up or framing of Karen Reed. So while Karen Reed's lawyers have suggested that John O'Keefe, it I think proved, went into that house after being dropped off by Karen, Brian Albert was very adamant in that interview that John O'Keefe never entered the house. He says, quote, you do realize for this conspiracy to be true, it would take 30 to 50 people. You would have multiple cops on 2 different police departments, multiple civilians, and the medical examiner, firemen, EMTs, you name it. That's how preposterous and silly this is, end quote. He also said, quote, I don't understand how people bought this, end quote. So let's see. So in regards to the comments, and we did hear about this during the second trial when Jen McCabe took the stand. Remember, she talks about how she burst into 34 Fairview Road, into the Albert's bedroom to say John was outside. And then there was the whole question of, well, they have a dog that they sleep with. That's aggressive. If you're going to burst in that room, that dog's going to bark and make noise. Anyway, so what Brian Albert said, Nicole Albert said in regards to Jen McCabe bursting in the bedroom, she says, quote, she was just upset. And I immediately thought something had happened to one of her children or one of my children, because why else is she in my bedroom at 6:30 in the morning right now, end quote. So what Brian Albert added to that was, quote, she said, John's out front. John, I think John's dead out front, end quote. And Brian Albert said, quote, what the F are you talking about, Jen? I don't understand what she's talking about, because why would John be out front of my house, end quote. So one of the big thing, and Beckham, I cannot wait to hear your thought on this. So we have all speculated and talked about, why did John O'Keefe is outside of your home? You know that there's now law enforcement out there, and you don't come out even once to see what is going on. When you hear that your friend is dead on your lawn, you still don't come out. He's gotten a lot of shit for it. And the interviewer mentions that to Brian Albert. This is his response. Quote, I'm not a Canton police officer. I'm a Boston police officer. I was just woken up out of a cold sleep from hanging out the night before. By the time I came downstairs, the police were already in my house. John was already gone. There was nobody to save. What am I supposed to do? Run out front in my underwear and start running yellow tape around the fire hydrant? End quote. Before we talk about the McCabe's, actually, you know what? No, there's just two more things to add. So Jen McCabe was there with her husband, Matt McCabe. They were all drinking with John O'Keefe the night before. In regards to the verdict, the families had said that Karen Read's verdict was, quote, a devastating miscarriage of justice, end quote. The Alberts and the McCabes have said that they have been called, quote, murderers, end quote, throughout this whole time and continue to be called that. So, all right, I just threw a lot at y'all. Beckham, what is your thoughts on this Albert and McCabe interview?
Well, I mean, right off the bat, when he says that he was in a deep sleep, and you know he's not a Canton police officer, dude. You are a police officer. You have an oath to protect. Doesn't matter who, to serve and protect, like society, right? Like you're telling me you're a deep sleeper. You are a law enforcement officer. You're probably going to be one of the lightest sleepers, right? Just because of the training, and your mind is always like, whoa, what's going on? What could be happening? That kind of thing, right? So, and just like nurses and doctors, if I mean, you're supposed to stop, right? If there's an accident, he's trained to be a first responder, even to help with it, with just with the initial situation, right? Whatever he can do to help, until further, until the further first responders get there, ambulance, fire department, whatever, right? EMTs, fire department. But like he's got some sort of training. So the fact that he said that no, I'm not a Canton police officer, I'm Boston police officer. He kind of basically he's insinuating it's not his duty. Dude, you're a first responder. It is your duty. Like that's really shameful that he put it like that. It really is.
He's also a person. Like, okay, I'm not a cop of any kind. If there's a dead body on my lawn and the police are here, I'm going to go out there. Right. You know, I'm not going to interfere with what they're doing, so to speak. I'm going to be like, what the hell is going on? What's going on? How can I help?
He could have come out and said he's dead, Jim.
It's just insane that, like, he just said that so matter of fact, like almost like, wait a minute, are we all supposed to say, okay, yeah, that makes sense? No, it really doesn't. You had all this time from 2022 to today to think of some answer. That's what you give as your rationale. Well, yeah, this is why. Maybe that is in his mind the reason why I didn't go out there, and that's just fucked. Let's just be honest. But the thing is, we heard about this at the second trial, that Jen McCabe called her sister, Nicole, around 5. I'm blanking the time right now. I don't have my notes in front of me. After 5 a.m, when Karen Read called her to say John didn't come home. And the call connected. And they spoke. It was a very short call, but they spoke. So this whole, we were sleeping. Well, no, Nicole answered the phone from her sister, and it was guarantee it was Karen's on her way, giving them a heads up. So this whole, we were sleeping. Why is she here? Well, no, you answered your phone. So you knew. It's just crazy. It is crazy that is his response. But yeah, so that was my big takeaway. Like, there were a lot of comments in this about, I would have taken a bullet for John O'Keefe. Okay, but you didn't want to go outside. He's dying / dead on your lawn.
Here's the actual technicality. Here's a technical, overview.
Please.
Of police officers being considered first responders. Yes. They are amongst the first individuals with specialized training to arrive and provide assistance at the scene of an emergency. Their duties often involve securing the scene, right? Providing initial medical. There you go. That's what I was trying to say. Initial medical aid. That's what I was trying to say. And coordinating with other emergency personnel. The immediate response. Police officers are trained as a first on scene of an emergency, whether it's a medical crisis, a traffic accident, or a crime. They receive training in areas like first aid, CPR, and crisis intervention. There you, I mean, that's pretty much, there you go. I was trying to say the initial, that they're there for the initial part of it. So there
Yeah.
you go. They're providing initial medical aid. That's what it's. There you go. That's more professionally termed.
Thank you. I appreciate you reading that just to, you know, just make it crystal clear
Yeah,
about.
yeah. He's like, I'm not a Canton police officer. I'm a Boston police. I'm like, dude, you are a police officer. You're trained. Like you are a first responder. No matter what, you are off duty. During duty. Like I said, if you're off duty, you can at least help and given the initial medical attention,
Yeah.
right? And if you're helping and police and emergency get there, by the way, yeah, I'm a Boston police officer. I have the authorization to do this, or I know what I'm doing to a certain point. I'm gonna tag here. You guys take over, right?
It ugh.
Dude, he really he messed up when he said it. I think he's frustrated. I think if he could go back, he would have reworded that but I think he's frustrated with all this, and because he probably knows he's probably carrying a burden, Danny, and he's
Uh,
frustrated.
yeah, burden that they didn't cover it up
Yeah,
better.
right, and or whatever. And I think the frustrated because that's how he put that was really bad.
Oh yeah. How can they? Again, I don't. I want to be very careful here because I don't. The O'Keefe family are victims in this. They
Yeah,
lost a son, they lost a brother, an uncle, a surrogate parent, if you will, to those kids, so on and so forth. How are they? And they're close with the Alberts and the Capes. How are they okay with that statement that Brian Albert made? I don't get it. I wouldn't be okay with that statement.
no,
But that's just my that's just me. That's just me. Very frustrating. Very frustrating. That did not give. I genuinely, Beckham. Did you think Brian
yeah.
Albert
How
made
could he
that?
respond if he was in his underwear? Dude, it's an emergency. Put on put on a pair of shorts.
You know what?
If it was his kid, if it was his wife, he would have gone out there in his underwear.
You know what? I don't get like no, that for real. If like somebody forget who, okay, whoever sleeps with what type of clothing on, or maybe not what type of clothing on, who cares? If if someone burst in my house, hey, so and so's dead on your, I don't care. My first thought wouldn't be, what am I wearing to run outside?
Right.
I would be bolting past them to be like, what is going on? And I'm not a cop.
He
It
said,
just,
James, seriously, you gonna bring up the underwear?
he brought up the
I
underwear.
know,
Brian
but James,
Albert brought up the
but James,
underwear. No, I am so glad
dude,
that
it gets cold here, James. It's not like Boston is like the coldest point on the earth. Calm down.
no, I'm 100% with James on this. Like that was
Dude,
his realm
everybody
in my
has
underwear.
no. Let me tell you something, dude. Everybody has a pair of shorts. They don't go to bed in their shorts. So you gotta have a pair of shorts on your You can put it on the side chair
No, he's
or
not.
a robe. They got the robe right there. It's not like they have clothes next to their bed.
In the winter coat
That's
hanging
not.
by the
Yeah, it's not
door.
an excuse.
Yeah. It was a, okay, I didn't have clothes on, that's one reason.
No, dude.
Well, I'm not a Canton
Okay.
cop. Well, I was
Right.
just woken up from a deep sleep. I'm sorry, I've been woken up from a deep sleep when there have been medical emergencies that has happened to
Oh, but
loved ones in my life.
his phone, he was butt dialing everybody in town, but he was in a deep sleep. How can you butt dial everybody in town when you're in a deep sleep? And this is not 2005 with the flip phone
Hmm.
either. If it was a flip phone, if it was 20 years ago, it could be like, okay, you butt dial, it happens. No, not in 2025. You have to unlock your phone.
No, we're not mad. Just letting you know, letting you know.
Oh no, we're not mad. We're just messing with James.
I have a flip phone, sir. It's just, it blows my mind. It blows my mind. I genuinely walked away and was like, did Brian Albert think by saying these statements, we as the public would be like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. I think it did more harm.
Hey dog, what's a flip phone?
You look 30, but you're 47. Good for you. That's amazing. That's amazing. All right, let's carry on, because if you think, okay, is that it with the Karen Reed?
Wait, can you answer me that before we go to the next point?
Sorry, what was the question?
He was in a deep. How can he be in a deep sleep, but he butt dialed everybody?
I don't have an answer.
Did you see that meme I sent the chat with the
I
phone was
sure,
between
I've
his
seen that
butt,
on Instagram.
The phone was between his butt crack.
Yeah, it was a Family Guy meme.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been everywhere, for Christ's sake.
James, answer me that question.
So, in regards to more this week, Hank Brennan, Special Prosecutor Hank Brennan made a statement. It's not very long, so I'm going to read the statement as it is. And I just want you guys to keep in mind, because I want to hear what y'all think. Becca, I want to hear what y'all think after I read it. So the burden is on the state to prove their case. And one of the things, when a jury is picked and selected and they do their due diligence, however way that they vote, this is the way the justice system was set up. So for somebody, especially on the side of the state, the prosecution, to kind of, in general, speak negatively about the process and the jury and it kind of come down on them because you don't agree with their statement, that's very fucked up.
Dude.
In general. So let's just keep that in the back of your mind, okay? All right. So Hank Brennan's statement regarding the Karen Reed verdict, quote, I am disappointed in the verdict and the fact that we could not achieve justice for John O'Keefe and his family. District Attorney Michael Morrissey appointed me, giving me full discretion to independently assess the case and follow the evidence no matter where it led. After an independent and thorough review of all the evidence, I concluded that the evidence led to one person and only one person. Neither the closed federal investigation nor my independent review led me to identify any other possible suspect or person responsible for the death of John O'Keefe. The campaign of intimidation and abuse that has been waged, funded, and promoted in public and on social media is the antithesis of justice. If this type of conduct becomes commonplace, it will threaten the integrity of our judicial system. Oh, sorry, my mouse moved. One second. Okay. It will threaten the integrity of our judicial system, affecting both victims and criminally accused. We cannot condone witness abuse, causing participants to worry for their own safety or that of their families. It is my hope that with the verdict, the witnesses and their families will be left alone. The harassment of these innocent victims and family members is deplorable. It should never happen again in a case in this Commonwealth. My heartfelt condolences to the O'Keefe family and faith that over the coming years, they will find peace and closure. Hank Brennan. Thoughts, Beckham?
It sounds like Bigliosi's gravestone.
For those who are wondering what he's talking about, Vincent Bugliosi, not Bigliosi, who was the prosecutor in the Charles Manson case.
I don't really, whatever.
He had over a week to make this statement, and this is what he put forward. So, I want to pick it apart a little bit. So we talked about.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I mean, again, like we knew what he was coming in to do. We knew his history. You know, I mean, I know that you I know that you didn't see him as a bad guy at first. That he had a job to do, but then he did something that kind of really kind of triggered you a little bit in the trial, and you know, but again, he got paid. We talked about how much he got paid, right? Like last week, he got paid a lot, man.
Well over what he was supposed to.
Way over, yeah. So, but I still think he was gonna fight it. He was gonna fight an uphill battle, but he just tried to. You're right. A week later, I would have had a statement immediately after, day or so, 2 days maybe.
I don't think he thought they were gonna find her not guilty.
Are you really? I don't know, man. Again, I'd have to. Man, was he that? Was he that like not arrogant, but like that secure, that sure? Really? Like to me, you had to have known you were gonna fight an uphill battle. He had to have known, especially if he knows that if they both sides knew the evidence that the defense is talking about that they weren't able to present that puts the death of this police officer inside of that house, you should know that you're fighting an uphill battle. Okay, at least take the money, man. I get it. Hey, take the job. You got paid. People will just move on from it, right? There'll be movies, whatever. You can get a book deal out of it too, whatever. But to me, I figured he was always. I mean, he had to have known he was going to fight this uphill battle. But if he was that really sure of like seriously they were going to find her guilty, what orbit have you been in the last 3 months or whatever? That's on him. That's on him.
So the you bring up a lot of points.
I know, because I'm good. I'm just like
are we in the same conversation?
Oh man.
I don't know how to respond to that. Okay. So in regards to the evidence, so he is saying he did an independent review. All right. Where does your evidence point in regards to? You'd think he would be like, you know what? Lally is not trying this again. They had to hire somebody outside to come in to do it. I think that says a lot.
Yep.
He didn't he could have been like, you know what? The state fucked up with this case. The investigators, everybody, even if he thinks, which is not true, that Karen Reed hit him, he'd be like, the way this case was handled, it should not go forward, and here's why. But
yes, but then he wouldn't have gotten the attention. He wouldn't have got the he took a shot, man. He took a shot.
It's gonna affect his career.
Because he got paid, number one. Number two, or he took a shot. The attention, he got paid. He could get a book deal, whatever. The pre-post, the pre-post stuff, right? The attention and the post stuff. But I mean, maybe he really thought he could do it. Maybe he thought he could pull it off.
You had said that, I didn't think he was the bad guy up front. I really try to give people take a step back, even though I thought this whole time Karen.
Do you really take a step back?
No, I really did.
Okay.
Hank Brennan has a very impressive resume.
Measured resume.
So, let's see what he does with this. I'm not going to agree because I do think that she's innocent, but let me see. There was shady shit he did, but it was that sweatshirt when he held it up and showed the cuts to Dr. Wolf and was like, oh, you didn't test this and this. When he knew good and damn well that was not from a car, that was from the state's, laboratory experts that had to cut that sweatshirt, and he passed it off as though it was the vehicle. And why didn't those marks on O'Keefe are like
from like have you ever seen the movie the Werewolf, American Werewolf in London?
Oh God, yeah.
It was kind of similar to that. I mean, like seriously, like, God, dude.
Yeah. So, but going past the evidence, Hank Brennan talks about the campaign of intimidation and abuse that has been waged, funded, and promoted in public and on social media. So let's call it like it is. He's talking about Turtle Boy. He's talking about Aiden Carney, and he's talking about people who are in the Free Karen Read movement. That is exactly what this is, which people are allowed to say, I think this person is innocent. I'm going to, no one committed a crime here, but this intimidation and abuse. You want to talk about intimidation? The Alberts, the McCabe's.
This thing kind of reminds me. I know we're gonna go back. This thing reminds me of OJ. The errors, the two biggest mistakes in OJ was God. What's the lady's name in that case? The lady, the prosecutor in that case, in the OJ case. Anyway, so she showed up to the crime. She showed up to the OJ house, right, when they had him arrested, and the first guy she meets, she's like
Marsha Clark. Thank you,
Marsha Clark. Thank you, James. She gets to when they get him, they finally get him to the house. She literally walks there. The first guy she gets talking to, and she's just like, oh my God, this guy knows what he's talking about. He was here. It was the racist cop. What was the racist cop? They made him one of the primary the racist cop guy.
You're having me try to dig back in
I know, but anyway, so
I was not prepared for this.
I know, but the two biggest things here, like it kind of has the similarities where she made the mistake of putting where they found Furman, where they got Furman for being like, that was her guy, that was Clark's guy. Then he's outed as a racist guy. Boom, strike one. And then the glove, they went with the glove thing, and it was just a debacle. The whole "you must quit" glove thing, and it was over. It was over. Whatever they had, it was done. And that's what he's kind of saying here, is that they're going to blame it on the outside, right? They're going to blame it on the outside, kind of like similar with the OJ, with all the people surrounding the race thing and all that. They're going to blame it on what was going on or outside the case, right? So that, I mean, he's literally putting the blame on something else besides the fact that he failed to prove what the case. He did, but again, that's me going back to saying, seriously, how did you not think, is his ego so inflated? Again, back to his success or whatever, his record, his history, his experience, but was his ego that inflated that he should have known he was fighting an uphill battle? He should have known. I mean, seriously, like what? I guess maybe his ego is that big, and that's why I brought up, what's his name? Buzz.
Yeah, I mean, that's just my opinion, that he thought that they were gonna be able to convict her. I don't know, but
there's a lot of similarities in the statement. I mean, in the statement, if you ask me, but.
Well, yeah, in regards to this whole, there is similarity in regards to the police in the OJ case completely botched that crime scene.
Right.
In this case.
No, hold on. I'm talking about how Marsha Clark took the chance on a racist cop. She took a chance on the glove.
Okay,
and I'm going back to, like, you're one of your key witnesses did not have integrity. Like everybody, Alessi made a fool out of him. Like right off the bat, there's similarities here. The biggest mistakes that he made was the witnesses. Maybe he didn't have other witnesses. Maybe that's what he had to go with. I get it. But again, that goes to my point, saying that, dude, you knew. I was his friend, and I'm in now. I would have been like, seriously, man, look. It doesn't. A lot of the stuff doesn't look right. Like, you're gonna be. I get it. You want to take the case. Good luck, whatever. But you're fighting an uphill battle here. He should have known that. There's no way he did not know it.
Yeah.
Again, unless his ego was so inflated that he felt he could do it. He felt he was that confident that he could possibly do it. But he had the worst. He took a chance on some of the worst witnesses. That girl that you brought up earlier, doofus girl, like seriously?
Oh,
Yeah,
Kelly Dever.
or I mean, I mean, I know that was maybe the other people, but I mean, it's just he chose the wrong. I mean, what else did you have, right? But
Well,
again, he should have.
Hank Brennan didn't call her. The
I know,
defense
I know,
did
but
because of,
I get it. But
yeah.
he could have at least like reorganized the his cross or whatever if he got to. I don't know if he did or not, but yeah, man. I mean, I don't. He just again, he should have known he was fighting an uphill battle.
Hmm. So, yeah, yeah. There's a lot to that.
I know. Well, I know. I was just trying to do a comparison because
Yeah, no, no, thank you. I
Marsha
think that's
Clark
very,
completely chose the wrong, and it cost her the case,
one can
just
argue
like it
that
cost.
certain witnesses that Hank Brennan put on here that he thought was going to help his case completely
That,
backfired. And
that's
it
what I'm
wasn't just
saying.
one, it wasn't just two, there
That
were a
right,
lot.
exactly. That's what I'm. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So,
And at the magnitude, this is one of the biggest cases. Like everybody's talking about it. It's all over YouTube. It's all over the news. It's all over here. It's all over different various
mhm,
news outlets. And
yeah,
it's a big case. It's huge.
it's under
And
a
that's
big microscope.
yeah, and
You know,
that's why I compare it to the modern day sort of kind of like the OJ.
OJ.
Yeah.
Yeah. In regards, so somebody asked a little earlier. I want to make sure I don't miss the
Involves
question.
police corruption and involve. I mean, it kind of to me they're almost similar except the race thing. But
So Turtle Boy is being sued by multiple people for witness intimidation, harassment, and all of that. He actually talked about that and went through who is suing him and kind of what he's facing with those charges because those are still pending. So he's facing a lot. But yeah, Hank Brennan's statement in regards to the intimidation and abuse and public social media, he's definitely referring to that in the Free Karen Read movement. But when he says it's the antithesis of justice, if this type of conduct becomes commonplace, it will threaten the integrity. People are allowed to have an opinion, and especially in something like this. It didn't work in his favor because he was brought in as the prosecution. Again, when he says we cannot condone witness abuse, okay, that's like the only statement in this that I agree with.
I mean, I don't. I'm like, dude, just take the loss. Like seriously, at least leave. You know what? If I was him, like take the loss, leave it for the civil suit. And again, I'm sorry, Danny,
Mm.
but that's why I'm comparing it to the OJ because we know what happened in that civil suit
Oh yeah, he was found
where
guilty.
OJ had to testify. He had to testify, and then he put the book out about, oh, if I would have done it, right? Remember that?
Oh, I have
So
that book.
so Karen's gonna
I
have
did
if
a
she
I
if
did a show on it. Check it out.
yeah, you did, right? I believe you did a
Book
book
review.
review on
Yep.
it. But yeah, if Karen, if the whole civil stuff with her, I believe she's gonna have to testify. I know it's two different states, but
Hmm.
I believe she will have to testify again. The lights, the action, it's gonna be there. It's gonna be covered. Everybody's gonna want her to see. Everybody's gonna be watching definitely to see what she says on that stand. So at least Brennan, again, if I was his friend, I would have been like, look, take the loss, take the L, man. You got paid though. It's okay. You got paid. You're fighting an uphill battle, buddy. It's okay. I get you. Look, man, that Higgins guy, bad dude. You know what I mean? I would have been like consoling him, would have been, look, man, but at least leave it open for the civil suit. Don't just like bring such negativity to um the post product here that you're putting out that it's gonna hamper the civil suit. Like be okay, take the L, but at least set it up for the civil suit. You could at least do that. I
Hank
don't know.
Brennan, no, no. The thing is, so it's not like he is not from
It's
here and
okay,
he was
buddy. Take the
thrown
L.
in. Jesus. Hank Brennan's from here. He lives there here. He practices here.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
true.
I
I
this is just
guess.
my opinion
Yeah, you're
that
right.
this the way he handled this trial, it's going to backfire on his career.
Yeah,
because he did some dirty shit that got called out in court.
Yeah, you're right. And then this statement again, I would have taken, like I said, keep your head up. You don't win all of them. He hasn't won all of them. He's not perfect in his record, but again, if you were really sincere, you wouldn't have done the stuff that he did during the trial. And if you were really sincere, you wouldn't have put that statement out to where it really darkens the outlook or the pre-look towards the civil suit. If you really were really cared about it and you were really sincere about it. That's my opinion.
It's like you're basically saying, hey, jury, in my opinion, you fucked up. Pretty much.
Again, like I said, you should have been sincere.
I never heard of Turtle Boy until this trial. A lot of people outside of New England didn't know about Turtle Boy.
But do you see what I'm saying, Danny? Like if he was sincere, like if he really.
Yeah.
If you really cared about the guy that you were supposed to be trying to find justice for, you wouldn't have pulled those nasty punches, illegal punches, and you would have been sincere in your statement.
Yep.
For later.
Thanks. Let me check. I'll check you out. I heard. Where is it? Yes, Kohberger will be televised. So. All right, Hank Brennan's statement. So Alan Jackson had.
This is all you, darling. This is your guy.
Yes, but he's not Yannetti.
I know he's not Yannetti, but he's like an extension of Yannetti.
Yes, I mean Alan Jackson does not need to be an extension of anybody. Let's just get that clear. But
hey, do you like Jackson first trial with no beard or second trial with beard?
I like him with the beard.
Second trial with Jackson. All right.
Yeah. At first, I was like, ooh, but then when I look at pictures, I'm like,
that's funny.
It was again, beard or no beard, he's no David Yannetti. But let's.
Thanks, Judas. We were taking off. Thanks for being in the chat.
Wait, what? Did I miss the comment? I didn't see that Judas is leaving. Okay.
Oh, I thought he was. He's like holler at me.
Oh, if that is hey, I gotta run.
Yeah, I didn't know if you. Oh, I thought he was. I thought
that's
you were
not
leaving.
how I took it. But if you are running out, yeah. See what? Don't.
Oh, okay, Judas. I thought you were saying, hey, I'm out. Holler at me.
All right, we need to pause the show. 1, don't listen to Beckham. 2, James Watson is not funny. In 3, as you said earlier so eloquently, everybody hit the like button. All right, let's move on. Alan Jackson. So his response to Hank Brennan's statement, quote, the jury has spoken, but Special Prosecutor Hank Brennan, in an egregious breach of prosecutorial ethics, has tried to publicly shame and discredit that very jury. For him to attempt to supplant his personal views for that of the jury is a desperate attempt to save face in the wake of a unanimous rejection of the prosecution's case. The rules of professional conduct are clear. A prosecutor should support the legitimacy of the justice system and promote public confidence in its operations. Openly attacking a jury's verdict because he disagrees with it undermines that centuries-old edict. Mr. Brennan claims that his investigation was, quote, thorough, end quote. If that were true, the Commonwealth would have uncovered what we, the defense, uncovered: hidden exculpatory evidence, lies, and perjury by the Commonwealth's own witnesses, cops covering for other cops, a biased and corrupt lead investigator with personal ties to witnesses, and inculpatory and suspicious conduct by myriad witnesses. The only job of an ethical prosecutor is to seek the truth in a just and fair manner. The Commonwealth to find justice. I jumped ahead. The Commonwealth fell widely short of that responsibility. Theirs was not an effort to find justice for John O'Keefe, Rather, it was a personal vendetta against Karen Reed by DA Michael Morrissey and his hand-picked prosecutors, and it cost the people of Norfolk County millions. The fact is, Karen Reed is factually innocent, and this case never should have gone to trial in the first place. This case is a stark reminder that there has been a complete breakdown in what is supposed to be our justice system. Those in power are more interested in protecting themselves than the citizens that they are sworn to protect. The Commonwealth's defamatory public comments ring hollow to the very constituents that they are supposed to serve. It is now crystal clear that disgraced DA Michael Morrissey has no interest in actually seeking justice for John O'Keefe by identifying and prosecuting the real killer or killers. The Commonwealth would rather simply condemn the jury in its fair and lawful verdict. We are thankful for the jury's commitment to truth and that they found their way to a just verdict. But make no mistake, if DA Michael Morrissey had his way, the truth never would have come out in this case. It would have been lost somewhere in private and deleted conversations that would never have seen the light of day. Corruption like this doesn't happen in isolation. How many innocent people have been railroaded because of failures in our judicial system? We as citizens must demand more for our institutions.
He definitely called him out.
This, well said, Alan Jackson. Well said. He called him out and basically reiterated the whole, hey, Wolf, boom. Exactly. Kind of used the state's own things to be like, this is why, and this was your thorough investigation. But through all of that, he's right. This isn't an isolated incident. If Karen Reed didn't come up with the funds to hire the team she did, she's still in debt millions, by the way.
How did she get them? Do you know?
Well, she originally had Yannetti. He was from day one.
Okay.
And then Alan Jackson, she found Alan Jackson and brought him on. And Liza Little. But this, Turtle Boy, who again is responsible for the Free Karen Reed movement, like giving credit where credit is due, made this very public. Not every case like this has someone like that. Not every case has the funds and the means to hire the team that she did, and would just take a plea because they have no other options. And we never would have heard about this. But what I liked about this, and Alan Jackson is spot on, is that and he's right, Hank Brennan basically tried to publicly shame and discredit the jury. And I like how he cites, these are the rules of professional conduct. A prosecutor should support the legitimacy of the justice system, promote confidence in its operations. Openly attacking a jury's verdict because he disagrees with it undermines the centuries-old edict. 100%. He could have just said that. Alan Jackson could have just responded with that one paragraph, and that would have been enough. But he took the time to add everything else, and it just really enhanced and enriched it. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what he gained by Brennan gained by attacking, like that in his, who he attacked in his statement. But again, he should have been more sincere. And I mean, like I said, taking the L and just being more sincere. I mean, dude, it was going to be hard if you would have pulled off the win. It would have been shocking. Because the evidence to me was just overwhelming that it was going to be hard to prove, right? But whatever, or she didn't do it, but
there would have been appeals, but
right, but he would have walked away with at that point and just been like, hey, I'm out, I'm giving my money, I'm gone. But again, yeah.
And I want to just so Beckham and everybody else who's watching, Hank Brennan took his time over a week to release this statement. Within that week, several jurors have come forward and given interviews, and they have said,
yeah, good point,
why they came up with the verdict that they did. They've talked about the different evidence that was presented. different witnesses for both the state and the defense.
Even the main jury guy, what was his
Yep,
name?
we're going to get to that next.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get to that next. But my point is, Hank Brennan, before he made that statement, could have taken the time, because again, he's so thorough, taken the time to look at, for those who did come forward, even though again you disagree with their verdict, listen to them. Listen to them. How did they reach the conclusion that they did? And have an understanding of maybe where you dropped the ball, where the state dropped the ball, whatever it is. Have that background knowledge of, you know what, they're from their mouths, this is why they came up with the verdict they did. And keep that in mind when you're releasing this statement. That would have been the smart thing to do.
I mean, did
In my
he?
opinion.
I mean, dude, it's just. I see him as a Marsha Clark. He picked the wrong people, man, and it ruined your case. You lost it. Remember
You can't admit that.
what was I telling you all for the longest time? For me, it's going to be the strategy. You're going to have two different teams, two different strategies. It's going to be interesting. It should be interesting who they pick. What again? The defense. They didn't call Higgins. They didn't call. They didn't call back Proctor. They didn't do a lot of little things that they could have done. That was their strategy. Brennan, this was your case to present, right? And you went with your strategy. And I'm telling you, man, the people that you picked was just, I mean, but who else could you have gone with? I get it, right? That's the ups. I keep saying that's the uphill battle he had to go with.
Mm-hmm.
He was dealt. This wasn't going to be an easy. He should have known it was not. When he took it, he knew that it was, again, the jury was hung the last time or whatever, right? He knew what kind of uphill battle he had.
Yeah.
But now it's almost like you're a sore loser.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
At least Marsha Clark didn't come off that way. I know I keep going back to that, but it's to me there's so many similarities.
All right, well let's move on from Marsha Clark. Let's let her rest for tonight.
Yeah.
All right, I do want to get to the jury foreman's statement, but I just want to make
there you go, the foreman guy. Yeah.
Didn't love AJ's beard. What? Loved your short of Mr. Alessi. Thank you. Yeah, the shorts I posted on about Alessi, like on YouTube, it's gotten a lot of views. On TikTok, oh my god, it's gotten crazy amounts of views. Everybody loves Alessi, rightfully so. Karen Diamond, hello, good to see you.
Where do you think Alessi's popularity really just blew out?
I mentioned it when I was on the Zone 7 podcast with Cheryl McCullum. When he cross-examined Shannon Burgess. We all liked him because he's very smart. He knows what he's doing. He's very old school. He does not miss a thing and can improv a question on the spot. But his cross-exam of Shannon Burgess and Dr. Welcher, because Alessi knows what he's talking about. He's not just like, ooh, this is a field that I don't understand, but I have my set list of questions to kind of disprove that. No, he gets it. And he just, excelled. All right, just make sure I didn't miss anybody's comments on that. All right. So the jury foreman, he made a statement. And what he has said, and he's chosen to remain anonymous, although I have been seeing his picture about, so like he's not going to be, anonymous for very long in this day and age. It is what it is. But what he said is, quote, now the FBI knows Karen Read is not a suspect. Something happened and multiple jurors feel that way. The foreman says he's calling on, end quote. So this was told to the Herald, and the foreman said he's calling on federal investigators to step in because, quote, no one local should be involved in the investigation, end quote, given the victim's ties to local police. The foreman says, quote, it was lazy police work. We should start some type of investigation of what went on in that house. End quote. And then the foreman also said, quote, we just need to find justice for John and get his mother some peace, end quote. So simple statement, but very impactful. So he's just flat out, I completely agree. No one local should be involved in this investigation. Cut that out. He's saying it was lazy police work. And I love where he says we should start some type of investigation of what went on in that house. Because what is that saying?
Yeah.
John O'Keefe went in that house. What was your thoughts, Becca, when you read that jury foreman statement?
Yeah, he had a lot of you know what, to put that out on the spot. It was a national televised interview. He was calm. I like that he was calm. He was calm and confident in what he delivered, and he delivered what a lot of us feel, how a lot of us feel, and he hit on all the points. It was very well said. Yep.
100%. 100%. And I've gotten a lot of questions, like even in like my kind of quote unquote personal life with coworkers, friends, like, do you think the FBI is going to get involved? Do you think, so on and so forth? Or is this just going to trickle off and fade away? I don't know. Beckham, what do you think?
It's going to go away.
It's going to go away.
Yep. Unfortunately, yep.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Because it wasn't initially investigated correctly. Again, it's going to fall on Proctor. How can you prove it?
Right.
Unfortunately, you can't prove it. Everything has been compromised. I'm sorry, it has. The crime scene was. I mean, everything was. I mean, you can't. How are you going to put him in there? I mean, everything's changed in it's been how many years? I mean, there's nothing. Everything is compromised. Everything is compromised. You're not going to be able to prove anything. The only thing you have circumstantial is Higgins destroying the phone. But like, I don't know. I just don't think you have enough. You have enough to really do anything, unfortunately, because of the way that and that's again, Danny, that's the whole point of it, of the cover up, because you compromised everything that they can't even go after the right people.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to do it. They're not going to waste their time. It's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
Because this guy, so what if if this guy died inside the house or whatever, and I'm saying if, I'm not going to talk like that, but
you're so politically correct.
But yeah, it's unfortunate that there's no justice for this man that seemed to be a really good guy, and he was taking care of his
niece and nephew
and that kind of thing, and it's unfortunate. I mean, I don't even know. There's nothing to say, but it's unfortunate.
In just what you just said right there, to me, ties back to what the jury foreman said at the very end of that statement, because he's focusing on John O'Keefe, because he's saying we need to find justice for John and get his mother some peace. So this jury foreman is very John O'Keefe focused, and I don't want that to go unnoticed. And again, we talked about before, there's like this whole free Karen Read, justice for John O'Keefe, and you're either on one side or another, and it's like both things can be true. You can be on the exact same page and want Karen Read free because she didn't do it, while getting justice for John O'Keefe.
Right. Yes, you're right. Yep. Good point.
And what you said, it's just like what you just said. It's horrible because there will be no justice for John O'Keefe. Even if he wasn't a Boston cop, he desered better.
Or as a human being. Yeah.
In this investigation, but especially because he was a Boston cop.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know, man.
I know.
There's a lot there's a lot of circumstantial evidence, a lot of, it's unfortunate.
Yeah. So Wolf asks a good question. Does Karen Read get to sue for all the BS she was put through? She can file a lawsuit. I don't know that anybody can file a lawsuit. I don't know the logistics of what recourse that would have. but
I
sure
have
hope for
I
sure.
have seen tonight. I don't know, Danny, if it's been confirmed that she has penned. Her and Jackson have penned a movie, a deal for a movie or a TV show or something.
I read that.
But I don't know
I
how
don't
true it
know.
is. Yeah, I don't know.
It's still like, nah. We'll
Dude,
see.
if I was a studio head, I'd want that deal.
Oh, you know, everybody wants
Dude, I
the
would be
book deal, the
flying her.
movie
I would right
deal.
now on this weekend. I would be flying her somewhere and be like, "Hey, let's get away. Let's get you away from the area. You need some time away. We'll put you up for like a week. Let's talk about it slow. Let's negotiate it." You know, I would get her away from there for a while
Mm.
on the studio dime.
Yeah, I mean,
But
you're right. There
anyway,
are a lot of people that I'm sure that have for sure.
right.
Capone says they botched the investigation on purpose so that the Alberts can't be
Of course,
charged.
that's the whole point.
Yeah, 100%,
Or
100%.
they wanted, of course, to pin it on, make it look like on her, but there was two things going on. They botched it, and then they were trying to just put it on her, and it didn't
Hmm.
work. And it didn't work. It
Yeah.
backfired completely.
Yep. And if just to take it back just a second, and if Proctor's saying this is how we all handle
Oh,
all
that opens the
investigations.
doors for, like, you've talked about it in the past. That's opened the doors for all the other cases he's touched. And again, it's opened the doors for Higgins on a federal level with the stuff he's done, because a lot of
Bukkake,
state, yeah, Bukak, yeah, all of them.
all of them, all of
There's a
them.
shame with him getting fired, right, officially, for the type of detective that he was. That it's kind of a chain, or a domino effect.
Domino effect. Yeah. Yeah. It's it's such a shame. It's like this whole
I
thing.
mean, if nothing comes out of it, at least Proctor got. I mean, at least Proctor got fired, and that department is shameful. There's a lot of people. There's even ex-retired police officers, detectives that just brought shame. They were, they just put the shame of light, the light of
Mhm.
shame on that department. Sorry.
Yeah. Speaking of that, when I was there
Yeah.
uh Tuesday, so the day before the verdict, there was, and he'd been there. This guy had been at the courthouse multiple times. So he's, I'm thinking if you go to Susan Hendricks, news anchor Susan Hendricks TikTok. So she did a quick little interview with him and posted it on her TikTok. So this gentleman was a retired, I believe, Canton police officer. It was either Boston police or Canton, I believe Canton police officer. And he was there in his pink supporting Karen Reed because he did not feel what happened was just. That says a lot. A lot. So
No, you're right.
leave you with that. Yeah. And again, there were a lot of state police officers that the few weeks that I went, when I was able to get time off work and talk to some of the other Mass
Yeah.
State Police that were there to kind of keep order of everybody. And yeah, they were very nice and very kind of off record. They don't think that Karen Reed did it. They it's
Oh,
basically a few, every job there's always somebody that just fucks up, is a bad employee, so on and so forth, that makes everybody else look bad.
yep.
This just brought a spotlight. So now it's like, well, all state police officers are like this, or all Canton police officers, and it's not everyone. So the few officers I spoke with, not naming names, that the actions of a few have made them all look bad, and they don't like that, and they don't agree with it. Yeah, well said. It was very well said.
Real quick, Danny, before you exit the main topic,
Yes.
I just wanted, because we're talking about the jury and things like that, right? The
Yeah.
whole Brennan thing. If you really want a great, powerful movie about the juries and jury selection, the movie's called Runaway Jury. Maybe some of you guys have seen it. It's from 2003. It's one of it could have been Gene Hackman's last movie. I'm not sure, but he's in it. John Cusack's in it. Dustin Hoffman is in it. Uh,
Mm.
Jeremy Piven's in it. Rachel, I don't know how Weisz or Weisz or something like
Weiss.
that. Weisz, yeah, she's in it. So you have two Academy Award winners right off the bat. You have a hell of a cast, and it's really it's a American. It's this it's called an American legal thriller, and it's really about the strategy and jury. I mean, like I said, runaway jury. So it's jury selection and all kinds of things that happen like that. So it's if you want to kind of go off on the of kind of the energy from this case and
Mhm.
take it to a movie, go to yeah, watch that, rent it or whatever. It's a good movie.
Yeah, thank you for plugging that. So K Dog asks a question. So I think this is the best. Okay. 12 Angry Men is good
Yeah,
also. Yes.
it's older though. Yeah, it's an older movie.
Stop yawning. You have a coffee. So K Dog, what's Beckham gonna think what happens to Diddy? Good question. So I was wondering how are we gonna transition off of Karen Reed in this to great way. So
Slippery
basically,
slopes. Get it?
as it
You,
kind of moved quickly this
you,
past week. So the
did you just get?
prosecution rested their case after 34 witnesses. The defense rested their case. They called zero witnesses. The defense spoke for like
Zero.
when
Zero.
it was their
What was their hope? What was their job then, dude?
technically speaking, they don't have to do anything. It is this, I would say the state, but in this case, the federal, the prosecution's burden to prove RICO, sex trafficking, so on and so forth. So technically, the defense does not have to do anything. But obviously, Diddy hired a dream team. I hate to say dream team of attorneys. No, Karen Reed hired a dream team. Diddy hired very well-known and reputable attorneys to represent him. To call zero witnesses, I thought that was very interesting. When it was their turn to present, they were only up there for I think it was 23 minutes. They read some text messages and then rested their case. And the text messages they read were basically trying to prove that, these were willing participants in what happened. So when everybody was like, oh my God, is Puff Daddy going to take the stand in his own defense? We all knew he wasn't going to do it. So I don't know why everybody's like, oh my God, he didn't take this. No, he would, on the one hand, he's narcissistic, would want to get up there and speak and try to charm everybody. He could never survive a cross-examination. Let's be honest. So he did not go on the stand. So this is
I don't know,
horrible.
Danny. I'm seeing a lackluster closing arguments by his defense team. The only thing that his lawyer said in closing was it was the Diddy charges were badly exaggerated. That's to say the least. But
Yeah.
like I said, it was lackluster. It wasn't a Jackson closing.
Oh God, no. No.
Or a Leslie closing. I wonder how Leslie closed. I wonder, it'd be interesting to see his closing statement. But
you know what? I could watch Attorney Alessi all day. I really could. I'm so in awe and impressed by him. But anyway, let's move away from Karen Reed because it's so easy to go back.
I'm just saying that it was a lackluster. That's what I've. That's
in comparison.
Yeah, it was lackluster. They just said, hey, these charges are like blown out of the water. They're not true, over exaggerated. Everything's just you guys are coming at my client like it's not they're just blowing everything out of proportion. But there was not that umph in that finish, right? To close. So
from the defense.
From the defense, yes.
Okay.
So so we'll see. I mean, somebody asked what I think is going to happen. Man, I don't. This is the thing. I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be hard to tell because did the prosecution do enough? And the people believe, the jury is going to believe it. You have all that, right? Again, you keep talking about, did you do enough to prove the case? Did you, to make sure that they're going to be found guilty with absolute truth, whatever. But I honestly don't know.
Yeah, this is one where I've been hearing very mixed feelings. I've been hearing people say,
yep,
they didn't prove RICO.
Yeah,
They didn't
right.
prove sex trafficking. And then I've heard, they proved it clearly. I don't really hear much of in the middle. But
Well, yeah.
so a few
And
things. So the prosecution actually dropped some of the charges before the case was handed to the jury. And that's very interesting too. It's almost like let's get the little things kind
yeah,
of
that was
taken
just
off the
I just
table and
well,
have
I
them
heard that
go
was a
in.
strategy, right? That was just that
It
was a
was very
formal,
strategic
right.
because for them to introduce a lot of the evidence they did, they had to get it into the courtroom. And to get it into the courtroom
It,
was
it,
these other
you
charges
had
that
the
they then
you
said,
needed the charges,
yeah.
right?
So
Exactly.
it did serve a point. So
Yes.
at first, when I'm like, wait, why are they dropping charges? But then when it's like, okay, wait a minute, there
There
was
was
a
a point.
strategy
There
to
was a
it.
strategy
The
to it. Yes.
charges that were dropped, in case people aren't aware, was the claims that Diddy allegedly engaged in racketeering by attempting kidnapping in California and New York, attempting arson in California, so Kid Cudi's car, and aiding and abetting sex trafficking. However, the U.S. government's removal of those allegations doesn't amount to the dropping of the federal charges against Puff Daddy Combs. So the RICO, the sex trafficking, so on and so forth. Like the big charges still stay.
Yep.
One of the things that did you see? Well, okay, not see because this isn't televised, but hear about when. So the judge had said to Diddy, how are you doing when he was in court? And Puff Daddy says, "quote I'm doing great. How are you, Your Honor? I wanted to tell you thank you. You're doing an excellent job." End quote. It's like, what the hell is Diddy doing?
I don't know.
Like trying to
He's eating too many bologna sandwiches.
like that charm might work on so many people. You're not going to do it with the judge, and you're doing it in front of it. Like if I was his team, I'd be like, "What the? Like, shut your mouth."
Danny, I mean, I don't. I mean, if we know with there's with we know what kind of person he is.
Yes.
I came on here and just did a whole thing on the whole Tupac thing, and Diddy's all
Mm-hmm.
over it, and Diddy's all over his own friend's murder too, and you have all these people talking on ex security people saying, yeah, man, he's everything you hear about. He, when he was after he was arrested, right? A lot of this stuff started coming out. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
ex security guys started talking, and this people that were close to him at one time, where those relationships, whether professional or personal, soured in time, right? 20,
Mm-hmm.
25 years. They're telling truths, man. They really are. Not to their own benefit. They're not getting paid for it. They're just telling truths.
Yeah.
Sometimes we reach an age where we become more reflective, right? We become more reflective, and we're like, hey, there was a time where some stuff was happening, but let's just be honest now, right? And that's what that's what was happening with Diddy in the last year and a half, or however long it's been. And
Ever since that Cassie Ventura video dropped.
right, and then the thing with Tupac's that guy that was associated with him, because I remember he goes back. This thing goes back, dude,
Oh, decades.
to those murders, right? So he's even tied to those murders. So you know, they could stuff could come out even later when those cases are still coming for Pac's murder, right? So um anyway, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens, with him. Um, if he is found not guilty, I'm just going to throw everything in the air and just be like, whatever. I don't care anymore. Because we know just from people's, if he was really the nice guy and the guy that helps, like supposedly helps his friends and does this favor and does that favor and is there for, has helped build these careers and doing that, dude, people would be talking highly of him all the time. And what you hear is the complete opposite of that.
Yeah. 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 And the jury got to see like a lot of the videos of like the freak offs that we like other people in the courtroom didn't get to see.
Right.
So the jury got to see so much more of Diddy than even the rest of us, and even the people in the courtroom got to see. So this is one of those things where we can all, no matter what side you're on, I think we can all walk away and be like, he's a horrible human being. He's a piece of shit. We've all seen the video of Cassie being beaten. Like, we've seen text messages. There's a question here. I don't want to.
There's too many people that have come out and said, dude, this guy has done this with that person, has done this with that. I mean, there's too much. Again, if he was really the honest, friendly career builder, what do you want to call it? Like career builder of
Supportive.
others, like the enterprise, this guy that just built this enterprise, successful enterprise, all of this innovator, this music the music innovator, whatever you want to bill him as, it would be talked about in a positive way, in a positive manner. And it is not.
Yeah. So, okay, Tony Stewart, did anyone involved with Diddy say no to him? Cassie Ventura. Look what happened to her. There are others. There's text messages where people have said, I'm not comfortable with this. No. Yeah. And
this wasn't televised again, so we didn't really get to see a lot of it.
Capricorn Clark.
Yeah, we didn't get to see a lot of it. Yeah, we didn't get to see a lot of it.
Don Richards.
I didn't have the time to follow it every day, just because it's not. You got to go look for it yourself. You got to go do. It's not in your face like the Karen Reed thing was, right? So yeah, you'd have to go research everything. But I think there was a key witness that went missing. I don't know, and then there was another witness there was another witness that didn't come through. So the defense kind of took a little bit of a couple of hits there. I'm hoping that whatever they did provide to the jury is going to be enough.
Yeah. I want to make sure Diddy hasn't been kept in check by anyone for so long. He just went way over the edge. 100%. 100%. He thought he was completely, what's the word?
Untouchable or?
Untouchable. It was a different word I was looking for, but that's okay. Untouchable is the same thing.
Well, I mean, yeah, maybe, but
that there'd be no consequences.
He got away. Let me tell you how he got away with. He got away with. Hold on. He got away with Tupac's deal. He got away with Biggie's deal. He got away with that gun charge that would have put him in prison with J-Lo. That they gave the gun to his friend. His friend took the fall, and he took care of his friend. I mean, at least he did that. He took care of the guy and his family, right? When he went to prison in New York, those gun charges are like fatal. Not fatal, but you know what I mean. They're brutal gun charges in New York, in the state of New York. And then he's gotten away with a lot of stuff. So yeah, of course. How do you think he's gonna feel? Anybody would feel that.
So invincible, thank you.
Yeah, invincible. Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Undercover Mermaid. So, in regards to the charges of proving.
I thought he took care of him after the shooting. My bad. Well, I'm surprised it didn't come back around. I thought it would have came back around then, but it didn't. That makes it even more of a dodge.
In regards to do you think that the prosecution proved the charges of the sex trafficking, RICO, all of that, the enterprise, beyond a reasonable doubt?
I don't know. I'm scared that they didn't.
I go back and forth, and then in my mind, I stop and think, because I'm going back and forth, is that reasonable doubt?
If let me tell you, dude, if my gut is telling me he's gonna get off. If I read the ticker tape that says Diddy found guilty on whatever, I'm gonna be like, thank you, God.
Apparently, what I heard today is
Certificate.
that Diddy is already put the plans in motion for a 4th of July party at his house, that he'll be there. Kind of ballsy to do that before, like, the jury might, who knows how long it will take the jury to go over all the evidence, and there's a lot of evidence. But Tony Stewart, flip a coin 50-50, he'll get off. Yeah.
Damn.
Like,
Right.
I could see it going either way. And that scares me. Because what does that say to all the victims who finally had the strength to come forward against him for all this stuff? What's this mean for, he's going to think, I got away with all of this. I really am untouchable.
I mean, I don't know. Hefner got away with a lot more along a lower scale, but I mean, I don't know.
But to be brought to court to this magnitude.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, you're right.
Mm-hmm. In regards to one of the podcasts that I listen to, I mean, everybody's talking about this case on every podcast. It is what it is on.
Yeah.
But in regards to it was like let's say he does get found not guilty. Will his career, is he done? Like, is he done? Are people going to be like, no, you're a horrific human being. We can't support this.
I don't know.
Cancel
Man.
culture is really big, but then it also forgives and moves on very quickly.
I will not have anything. I will not watch anything or purchase anything with it that he touches.
100%.
I'm like with Wilson. I will forever be with whatever. If he's found not guilty and he goes and does this thing again, I'm gonna treat him like I treat Will Smith. I will not support him in anything personally.
Yeah.
Now he can still bounce. Maybe he can bounce back with a younger generation that doesn't. Who cares what he did 30 years ago, or who cares about Tupac, or who cares about Biggie, or a younger generation, because they don't know.
Yeah.
They really don't.
Back on the younger generation. Oh God.
They don't know. They just.
I
don't
know, but you're making us sound like you're right. You're right.
That's who he'll hit, because of course everybody that knows that's this with at least 35 and up, they know. But anything else younger than that, they're not going to know.
You're right.
No, they're not going to care.
No, I haven't.
But they won't. The younger generation will not care. They don't. They just don't.
Well, who might care is so Kanye West has already said, and very outspoken Kanye West, that he's already planning and will do a redemption tour with Diddy.
Yeah, because he needs the money. He'll do whatever it takes to get money.
Who would buy a ticket to see the two of them?
I don't.
Sadly, there are people that would do that.
There are people that would do that. Yeah, but
and that's
the only thing that really at that level that's going against the grain and putting it out there is 50 Cent. Like, he'll be like the one that says, "Hey, that you want the truth. Here's the truth. Those are those pieces of what there." But again, who will? If it happens, people will there'll be some people that'll go for it that don't care.
Just like people who ordered the shirt.
What's his name's in Japan? He's not even in the States right now, because he's almost been like disbarred or banned.
I have not. I don't keep up with Kanye.
Yeah, dude, he's not even like in the States right now because of the whole. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing, but it's crazy.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother separate thing there.
Yeah, but it's like, of all the people to kind of be like.
But if I didn't know he said that, but that's crazy. Again, this is just another thing, man. Again, yeah, like somebody in the chat said 50-50. I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that maybe did they do enough? I don't know. It's not like a shut the door thing, right? It's not a shut the door. We got it in the bag. But if I see it across, my phone, my messages saying he got found guilty, I'm gonna be like, thank you. There's justice.
I know. where there was a comment I want to make sure. Okay, Tony Stewart's. If he is found not guilty, the jurors have no compassion for these women who are testifying. 100%.
And then that'll set the precedent for like down the road for future stuff or with
Precedents?
precedents that for people that will not come. There'll be it's
Oh,
not even worth
100%.
not even worth it.
There are a lot of not just women, but survivors,
Yeah.
who victims, survivors, whatever they want to, what word they choose to identify with, who are watching this like very intently and closely, understandably.
And
Because this is
again,
a
like
big deal.
if people from the early 2000s or middle 2000s knew stuff that happened that they saw that they didn't come forward, shame. I mean, because they don't want to hurt their careers now.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. What do you feel about that? There's a lot of people in that spot, Danny,
Oh,
that are
100%.
successful right now in this moment that might have seen something, been a part of something in the, I would say like 20 years ago right now, like,
Hmm.
20 years ago that are like middle 2000s era, that's when they were starting out or
Yeah.
whatever.
When Diddy was in his career was in the prime, and so Beckham,
Well,
like that kind
it
of.
was actually like up going upward, but not,
But
he,
okay, so let me rephrase. To be there for that ride,
right, for the
like
rise.
he's
For
going
the
this way.
rise.
This
Yes.
is I meant prime in
Oh,
regards to this is the time to jump on the bandwagon
there
because
you
it's
go.
going to
Jump
help
on the, yep.
my career.
Sure. Yes.
That's okay. That's what
There
I.
are people right now that are in that spot that
Hmm.
you haven't heard a beat from.
Yeah. I will say I thought the state, sorry, I keep saying the state, this is federal. I thought the prosecution was going to have more than they
Well,
did.
remember that a couple of witnesses did
I
not come
know. I
through.
know. Yeah, like I just felt like there's so many people, like you said, like this has been going on a long time. There's a lot of people connected to this who have knowledge of this. I thought there'd be more people to testify to this, and maybe would be offered reduced sentences or offered immunity to like kind of go down with the sinking ship or help us with our case. I thought there'd be more of that.
Well, Dave Chappelle, I'm gonna quote him on this. And back in January, the weekend of January 19th on a Saturday Night Live monologue, he said that he joked that he was too ugly to be invited to a Diddy freak off parties. To the to the Diddy freak off parties. It's pretty funny. He's like, I never got the invite. I guess I was just too ugly. I don't know. It's pretty good. It's funny.
And now he's like, thank God I didn't get the invite.
Exactly.
Don't
Yeah.
want to
Well,
get
because
dragged into that.
because again, when he had his show, remember the Dave Chappelle show? It was like 2003, 2004. That's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying. That's when he would have been on that,
Mm-hmm.
that rise, right? And again, like he can say, "Hey, for I wasn't part of it. Thank God I wasn't." But he jokes about it because he was too ugly to come behind it. Oh, it's funny.
Yeah, that show was huge when I was in college, like huge. But all right,
Yeah,
my
that was around
cat
that
is trying to
time.
get up. So
That was
let
about
me-
that time. He's a prime example. What I was just trying to.
Yeah, so do Beckham. So next week is a holiday week, 4th of July. Do you think we'll have a verdict by the end of next week?
No, it's a short week. I don't think so.
I agree. I
People,
would be
I don't even think
stunned.
I don't think they'll have court. I'll be surprised if the court goes to Wednesday. They might do Monday, Tuesday. I'll be surprised if they're there Wednesday. I'll be surprised if they're there to Thursday. But
I
I
think they'll
think
be there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
you think okay, then yeah. But I was gonna say not Thursday. I don't think Thursday. So
Maybe a half day.
I mean I don't know. I'm
Maybe.
just saying I would be surprised if they go through past Tuesday.
Yeah.
What's the
We'll see.
rush, man? Take your time.
Oh no, there's a lot of evidence
I
to
mean,
look
come
at.
on, man. Let's get it
No,
right.
I would
They
be stunned.
I'm gonna stay
Short week
positive.
for
I'm gonna
feds
stay
court.
positive.
No,
Yeah, I'm
okay.
gonna stay positive, and let's get it right. Let's do it. Let's get the verdict we all want. Well, no, let's get the verdict that we don't want. I mean, not the fact that we want it. Let's just get the right verdict.
Which is guilty. Okay, man, lot discussed tonight. So we'll have updates. We'll see if there's a Karen Reed update next week. I don't know, but
Well, that ain't gonna go away. You got money. You got book deals, movie deals. You got the civil suits. You got A side going against the B side still. All right. And when I say that, you got the Karen Reed, the people who feel that there was no justice, and then you got the Karen Reed mafia people. So you got that is not, the Karen Reed thing is far from over.
mm-hmm.
I would wish there needs to be, we need a break a little bit, but there is no break. I don't think there's a break with that one.
You know what's funny? So earlier this week, one of the nights I worked, actually I stayed very, very late. And like when I said to my boss, like, end of the month's always busy. And I was just like, oh, I want to stay late. Can I just thinking of staying until like X time? And it was late at night. And she's like, really? And I was like, you know what? The Karen Reed trial's over. What do I have to do now? But yeah, she thought that was very funny. But yeah, I was just like, yeah, I'm just going to use that as a reason because there's nothing else going on.
Right.
Besides Beckham blowing up my phone and then me giving him the Kelly Dever picture response to everything he says. True, I do that. That's very true. But anyway, all right, everybody. It's been a super long show, almost 2.5 hours. My goodness. Get ready for the Idaho trial in August. Oh, K-Dog. I know.
James is officially a member of the Karen Reed Mafia.
James, I'm going to give you a star for that. I'm going to give you a star for that, for real.
It's a thing.
But yeah, when Koberger, they tried to get another delay. Nope, judge denied it. It's going forward. So until it happens, but as of now, it's going forward. Yeah, that's going to be one where we will be talking a lot about.
The only thing that I would love to see before we go, the only thing I would want to see about Koberger is the fact that he had access to recreate a scene. Remember how we talked about that? I want to know what he recreated, like what he studied. That's what I would want to know.
Very good question.
Yeah.
Very good question.
Was he, and how far in advance was he planning this?
Yeah.
Think about it.
We'll find out.
All right, gang.
Around. All right, everybody.
Karen Reed Mafia people out there.
All right. Well, thank you for joining for another episode of Danny After Dark, the True Crime and Chill. Thank you, Beckham, for being on camera with me as always. So next Monday, stay tuned. Travis Myers will be back on the show. Love Travis. So happy to have him back. So tune in for that. He'll answer your questions. So I'm excited. Other than that, please post your link to your channel. If you don't do it in the live chat after this ends,
Tony.
Leave it in the comments, please, so that people can go over and give you a sub, me included. So yeah, tune in next week, and then next week, True Crime and Chill, per usual. So, all right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and remember, until next time, we don't live in darkness. Darkness lives in us. Bye, everyone.